Atlanta, Georgia City, where neon lights blaze across skyscrapers and sticky humidity clings like a second skin. It's a place of grit, glory, and shadowed corners where power plays its dirty games. On a sweltering morning, the downtown courthouse hulks over the street, its marble halls buzzing with tension like a storm about to break. Inside courtroom 3B, the air's thick, heavy with the weight of something ready to snap. Enter Sergeant Jake Carver, 42, white, a third-generation cop with a smirk that says he owns the room. His boots thud against the tile as he drags in Marcus, a lanky 17-year-old black kid with paint-stained fingers and a flicker of hope in his dark eyes. The charge? Vandalism graffiti scrawled on a school wall, a jagged scream against a system that's ground him down. Carver's here to slam this case shut, to teach the punk a lesson, his voice a growl. His partner, Ray Tillman, trails behind quiet, complicit, eyes on the floor. Then it happens. A woman stands near the clerk's table, unassuming in a plain blouse, flipping through a file. She's a black, late 50s, silver threading her tight-pulled hair. Carver's eyes narrow, had never forgotten her face from a case 10 years back, a loss he'd sworn to even out. "Who the hell are you to butt in?" he snarls, venom dripping from every word. Before she can answer, his hand flies an open palm slap cracks across her face. The sound cuts the room like a blade, raw and brutal. Gasps erupt. A coffee cup smashes to the floor. Brown splashing white tile. The crowd freezes, jaws drop, eyes widen, breath held. Carver smirks, expecting her to buckle. She doesn't. She rises, slow and deliberate, her brown eyes locking onto him, cold as steel, blazing with courage. "Do you make a habit of hitting women in courtrooms, Sergeant?" she asks, her voice low, steady, a call to justice that sends chills down spines. Carver stammers, his swagger cracking. Tillman turns away, sensing the storm. This isn't just any woman. This is Judge Evelyn Brooks, the first black woman to claim Atlanta's highest bench. No robe yet, no gavel in hand, but her stand-up sets the room ablaze. In the next 5 minutes, Carver's empire built on badges, buried truth, and old grudges starts to fracture. This isn't just a slap. It's a spark of hope, a fire of justice roaring to life. Stick around, this inspiring story doesn't just simmer, it explodes, and the ending will glue your eyes to the screen. Where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If this kind of courage moves you, smash that like button and hit subscribe. We've got more stories like this coming your way. The slap's echo hangs in courtroom 3B like a gunshot that won't fade, etching itself into the silence. The crowd's locked in place. Attorneys grip briefcases like lifelines. Journalists scribble frantic half-thoughts. A bailiff's hand hovers over his radio, frozen mid-reach. Marcus, the kid in the orange jumpsuit, stares from the defendant's table, his skinny frame hunched under the weight of cuffs. His dark eyes wide, sharp fix on the woman who just took the hit, a spark of something cutting through his fear. She's still, head tilted just enough to let the sting settle, her cheek flaring red under the buzzing fluorescence. Judge Evelyn Brooks, 58, stands like she's been forged for this moment. Her silver-streaked hair is pulled into a tight bun, every strand a testament to her control. Those brown eyes, deep as wells, sharp as knives, haven't left Carver's face. She's been here before. Not in this exact courtroom, but close enough. At 12, she had stood on a cracked West End sidewalk, school book clutched tight, watching her mother hit the ground, shoved by a cop for daring to ask why their store got trashed with no warrant. That day, Evelyn swore she'd make it right, a vow that's burned in her gut ever since. Now, as the sting fades, that memory surges shot, jagged, a quiet fire. She doesn't flinch, doesn't creming. This isn't just her cheek, it's every cheek the system's turned a blind eye to. Across from her, Jake Carver's reeling, his hand flexing like it's got a mind of its own. Has 42, built like a linebacker who's let the gym slide, buzz-cut damp with sweat under the lights. 3 generations of Carvers have worn the badge. His granddad broke moonshine rings in the 50s. His dad busted cracked ins in the 80s. And Jake's carried that legacy like a crown, strutting through Atlanta's precincts with a smirk that says, the rules don't touch him. But now a flicker of fear dances in his gray eyes. 10 years back, Evelyn, then a prosecutor, had him dead to rights, caught on tape smashing a kid's face into a curb during a routine stop. Shed pushed hard, but the system pushed harder. A witness vanished, the tape went missing, and Carver walked, tossing her a wink as he swaggered out of court. That wink's been a splinter in her soul ever since, and today it snaps something loose. Marcus shifts in his seat, the cuffs clinking against the table. He's 17, all angles and edges, with a mop of curls and a spray paint can stashed in his backpack when Carver nabbed him. The graffiti enough in angry red slashes wasn't just vandalism. It was a howl after cops stopped him 3 times that month, no reason but his skin. He'd seen them break his brother's arm last year over a busted taillight, heard the crack, and his brother scream while he hid behind the porch steps. Now, watching Evelyn straighten after that slap, he thinks maybe she'll break them instead. His shoulders lift a fraction, hope clawing its way up through the dread in his chest. Ray Tillman lingers near the prosecution table, a wiry shadow in his late 30s, chewing his lip raw. He's not the loudmouth Carver is, more the type to nod along, keep his hands clean while his partner swings the fists. Right now, he's sweating bullets, glancing at the exit like he can outrun what's coming. Too late. The room's tilting and has caught in the spin. Evelyn takes a step forward, her heels striking the tile like hammer blows. The crowd hushes, breath held. She doesn't raise her voice, doesn't need to. "You think that slap's gonna shut me up, Sergeant?" She says, each word a blade honed over decades. Carver's smirk vanishes, his jaw tightening. He's used to people folding, suspects, rookies, even brass. Not her. "I didn't know you were," he starts, but she slices through, voice ice cold. "Didn't know what? That I'm the judge? Or that I'm the one who almost put you away for that kid you smashed up 10 years ago?" The air crackles, electric. Marcus lifts his head higher, heart thumping. He's seen cops like Carver, his whole life cruisers prowling his block, lights flashing, voices barking, leaving bruises and silence in their wake. But this woman, she's not bending. She's standing up, and it's like she's pulling him up too, a lifeline he didn't know he needed. Carver shoots a look at Tillmano, help there. Just a blank stare and a lip about to bleed. He tries again. But Evelyn's already moving, picking up her robe from the chair. She slips it on, the black fabric settling over her shoulders like armor plating. When she turns back, she's not just Evelyn Brooks, she's Judge Brooks, a force that's been waiting to strike. "You don't get to just anything in my courtroom," she says, her tone low but rumbling like thunder. "Not today, not ever again." The journalists in the back erupt, fingers flying over phones, snapping blurry shots of the scene. A young attorney mutters to his colleague, "She's not letting this slide, she's coming for blood." The bailiff, Carter, a burly figure who shadowed Evelyn for years, edges closer to the bench, his hand still on his radio, ready for the fallout. He's watched her take down drug lords and corrupt suits. But this is personal, and he can feel it radiating off her. That wink from 10 years ago, Carver's taunt after he beat that brutality. Rap never left her. She'd climbed the ranks, defense attorney, prosecutor, judge, not for glory, but for justice. For her mom, crumpled on that sidewalk. For kids like Marcus, caught in the gears. For every voice the systems tried to choke out. Now, with Carver standing there, dumbstruck and exposed, she senses it, a chance to rip that smirk off his face and bury it for good. Marcus watches her, his breath catching in his throat. He doesn't know her mom's story, doesn't know about that curb-smashing case from a decade back. But he knows this. She's not scared. She's not backing down. For the first time since his brother's arm snapped, he thinks maybe someone's fighting for him. Evelyn's eyes flick to him, just a heartbeat, but it's enough. She sees that spark, that fragile thread of hope, and it steadies her. She turns back to Carver, her voice solid as stone. "You've got a lot to answer for, Sergeant, and I'm not talking about just this morning." She nods to the clerk, a wiry woman named Harper, who's been with her through thick and thin. "Call the docket, Miss Harper. We're starting now." Carver's hands ball into fists at his sides, his knuckles whitening. He's not used to losing ground, not like this. Not to her. The floor is shifting under him, the weight of something massive pressing down. This isn't just a courtroom anymore. It's a battlefield. And Evelyn Brooks is armed with more than a gavel. She's got courage, justice, and 30 years of standing up to men like him. And she's ready to fight. The gavel slams the wood with a crack that jolts the room awake, sharp and final like a gunshot kicking off a brawl. Judge Evelyn Brooks sits behind the bench, her black robe draped over her like a battle flag, silver-streaked hair glinting under the harsh lights. The red mark on her cheek is fading, but the fire in her brown eyes burns hotter than ever, a blaze of courage that doesn't flicker. Courtroom 3B is a live wire journalist scribbling like their pens are sparking, attorneys shifting in creaky seats, the air so thick with tension it's hard to breathe. Marcus, still cuffed at the defendant's table, watches her with wide eyes, hope clawing its way up from the pit of his chest, fragile but fierce. Sergeant Jake Carver stands at the prosecution table, his smirk wiped clean, replaced by a twitch at the corner of his mouth that betrays his nerves. His gray eyes dart Tillman, the clerk, the buzzing crowd hunting for a lifeline he won't find. Evelyn's voice slices through the hum, calm but edged like a blade fresh off the whetstone. "Sergeant Carver," she says, leaning forward just enough to press the weight of her words into him, "you're under investigation as of right now. Assaulting an officer of the court isn't some parking ticket you can toss out the window." The room lurches. A young reporter in the back leaps up, snapping photos so fast his camera clacks like a typewriter on overdrive. An attorney in a rumpled suit whispers to his partner, "She's not playing, she just declared war." Evelyn doesn't blink at the chaos. She's faced down men like Carver for decades, cops, crooks, suits who think a title makes them bulletproof. She taps a thin file on her desk, one shed pulled from the clerk's stack before his hand ever swung. "Let's keep this simple," she says, flipping it open with a flick of her wrist. October 2018. A suspect ends up in the ER with a busted jaw. Your body cam footage vanishes. "Explain that to me." Carver's jaw clamps tight, his fists balling at his sides like he's ready to punch his way out. His not going quietly. He never has. "I do my job," he snaps, voice rough as gravel kicked up on a back road. "Out there on the streets, risking my neck every damn day, while you sit up there judging like your hands never got dirty. That footage? Tech glitch happens all the time." He steps forward, chest puffed out, trying to claw back the ground slipping under him. "You ever had to make a call with a gun in your face, Your Honor? Ever smelled the blood on the pavement?" The crowd murmurs, a ripple of unease snaking through the gallery. Ray Tillman shifts, chewing his lips so hard it's nearly bleeding. Evelyn doesn't flinch. She leans in, her voice dropping low, steady, a knife sliding between ribs. "I've had my hands dirty, Sergeant, cleaning up the messes you leave behind. You don't make calls, you make wrecks, then bury them deep. And don't dodge the question. Why'd you hit me? Because I'm a woman? Because I'm black? Or because you thought I was just another face you could smash into the curb like that kid in 18? The room falls dead silent, the kind of quiet that presses on your eardrums. Carver's face flushes red, his tongue darting to the side like he's fishing for a lie that won't come. He stammers, each word a shovel digging him deeper. The journalists are on their feet now, phones out, cameras rolling, lenses glinting like hungry eyes. A lawyer in a cheap tie mutters under his breath, "She's carving him up alive." Evelyn doesn't let up. "You don't get to just anything in here," she says, her tone rising just enough to echo off the high walls. "Not today, not anymore." She turns to the clerk, Harper, a wiry woman who's been her right hand for years. "Miss Harper, enter into the record that Sergeant Jake Carver has admitted on this courtroom floor to striking a sitting judge without provocation, timing it 9:47 a.m., and tied it to the surveillance footage." Carver's head jerks up, panic flashing in his eyes. "Footage?" he blurts, voice cracking as he scans the ceiling. Two small red lights blink back at him, steady and silent, from cameras he'd never clocked. His stomach plummets, a cold sweat breaking out on his neck. Tillman lets out a low curse loud enough for the front row to catch it. Evelyn's lips twitch, just a hint of a smile, cold and controlled. That's right, Sergeant. Footage. This isn't your precinct. You don't get to make evidence vanish here. Carter the bailiff steps closer to the bench, his broad frame a wall of quiet strength between Evelyn and the chaos below. He's seen her tackle tough cases, gang trials, crooked officials, but this is different. This is a reckoning, and he feels it in the air. Your Honor, he says, voice low and steady, you want me to call it in? She nods, crisp and quick. Do it. Internal Affairs, DOJ, the whole damn cavalry. This stops now. Carver's not done yet. He lurches forward, boots scuffing the tile, voice rising in a desperate roar. You're blowing this up over nothing. You'll ruin me 15 years on the line, and you're gonna torch it all. He lunges toward the bench, arms flailing, a wild swing at the air like he can knock her words away. Carter's on him in a heartbeat, one meaty hand clamping Carver's shoulder, pinning him back with a growl. Sit your ass down, Carter snaps, his grip iron tight. Carver staggers, chest heaving, fury boiling over, but he's got no play left. He slumps against the table, eyes blazing with a mix of rage and dread. Evelyn doesn't blink. She turns to Mark as a public defender, a twitchy guy in a wrinkled suit who's been mute till now. Counselor, your client's arraignment is postponed. Take him out the side door safely. We're done with him for today. Marcus blinks, stunned, as the defender scrambles up. Thank you, Your Honor, he stutters, guiding Marcus to his feet. The kid glances back at Evelyn, a quick nod small, loaded with gratitude, a silent you've got me. She catches it, and for a split second her eyes soften. That's why she's here for him, for the ones who don't get a voice. But Carver's still spitting fire. You're twisting this into some damn crusade, he shouts, voice cracking with raw desperation. 15 years I've served this city, risked my life. You think you can just... Enough, Evelyn cuts in, her voice booming like thunder rolling through the room. She stands, all 56 of her towering over the chaos like a storm front. 15 years doesn't give you a free pass to hit me or anyone else. This isn't a crusade, Sergeant. It's accountability, and it's been overdue since that kid hit the curb in 18. She turns to Carter. Get me a line to DOJ now. Carter nods, pulling out his radio as he steps aside. Evelyn grabs her phone, dials a number burned into her memory, Mike Hensley, her old law school sparring partner, now a heavy hitter at the Justice Department. He picks up on the second ring, his gruff voice crackling through. Mike, it's Evelyn, she says, low but urgent. A cop just assaulted me in open court. It's bigger than that, way bigger. You in? A pause, then, hell yes. What's going down? I need you to blow this wide open, she says, pulse steady but fast. Give me an hour. She hangs up, exhaling sharp. This isn't just Carver, it's the machine behind him, the one she's sniffed out for years. She glances at the file 2018, that missing footage. One thread, but it's tied to a web she's ready to unravel. Carver stares at her, fury giving way to fear. He's realizing it. This won't vanish like before. The crowd's buzzing louder, phones pinging as the story spills beyond the walls. A lawyer near the back mutters, she's gutting the whole damn system. Evelyn sits back, hands clasped, gaze locked on Carver. You started something you can't stop, she says almost to herself. He hears it, and it lands like a fist. The gavel rests in her hand, a weapon she's wielded for justice longer than he's worn that badge. And she's just warming up. The courthouse doors thud shut behind Evelyn, but the gavel's echo clings to her like a second pulse. It's just past 10 a.m., and Atlanta's downtown is stirring, cars blaring horns, pigeons flapping off steaming asphalt, the sun hammering down with a vengeance. Inside her chambers, Evelyn shrugs off her robe, hanging it on the rack with a reverence that feels like ritual. The red mark on her cheek is a faint ghost now, but her blood's pumping hard, a steady drumbeat of resolve. She's not done, not by a long shot. Carter, her bailiff, steps in, easing the door closed with a soft click. DOJ's on their way, he says, his deep voice steady but laced with an edge. Internal Affairs, too. They're moving quick. Evelyn nods, snagging a yellow legal pad from her desk. Her handwriting sharp, precise. Incident, assault in courtroom. Suspect, Sergeant Jake Carver. Witnesses, 20 plus. Video, secured. She pauses, then scribbles. DOJ, Mike Hensley. ETA, 11 a.m. Apex security dig. Good, she says, eyes still on the page. I want every complaint on Carver pulled by noon, every case he's touched. And Carter, get me anything you can on Apex security. They're in this deep. His brow creases, but he doesn't question it. He knows her instincts are rarely wrong. Yes, ma'am, he says, turning to go. Across town, Carver's pacing a holding cell in the precinct, a gray concrete box that smells of sweat and bleach. His uniform's wrinkled, buzz cut slick with perspiration. The slap replays in his head, her face, that steel-eyed stare, the room flipping on him like a switch. He's been in jams before, always walked away, clean complaints buried, tapes lost, buddies smoothing it over. But today's different, and it's eating at him. His dad's voice grinds in his skull. You're a Carver, Jake. We don't bend. Right now, he's bending hard, and it's tearing him up inside. The lock clicks. A man steps in mid-50s, bald, gray suit crisp like it's never seen a crease. No badge, no name, just a folder he tosses onto the bench. Your lifeline, he says, voice slick as oil, or your noose. Carver scowls, hands on hips. Who the hell are you? The man doesn't flinch. Someone who knows you're useful for now. Apex Security's watching this mess, and they're not pleased. Carver's gut twists. Apex has caught the name in locker room whispers, tied to private gigs and fat checks. What do they want? He asks, voice low, wary. The man leans in, sliding a photo across the bench. Carver's dad's old badge, scratched and faded, a relic of pride. Judge Brooks is a problem, he says. She's digging, got DOJ sniffing around. Stop her, or we auction this off with your name in the gutter. Your granddad's legacy, your dad's pension gone. That lands like a punch to the throat. Carver's family is his anchor, the badge, the stories, the weight of 3 generations. He grabs the folder shots of Evelyn's house in Mount Pleasant, her sister's address, her nephew biking home. This is insane, he mutters, stepping back. Threaten a judge? The man's smile is thin, cold, not threaten. Remind her. She's bold, make her feel the cost. You've done it before. Carver's hands tremble, but his jaw sets. What's in it for me? The man taps the wall. What's up here? A job with Apex clean slate, big money. Or you rot and your dad's badge gets sold to some pawn shop punk. He leaves a burner phone and slips out, silent as a ghost. Back at the courthouse, Evelyn's pacing her chambers, phone pressed to her ear. I've got a cop with a rap sheet longer than Peachtree Street, she tells Mike Hensley, voice clipped and urgent. And it's not just him, someone's wiping his slate clean. Check Apex Security. They're the shadow here. Mike's gruff voice crackles back. Apex? That's a whale, Ev. You sure? She stops, staring out at the skyline. Dead sure. By noon, internal affairs agents swarm the precinct, yanking files while cops huddle in corners, whispering. Evelyn's team digs up 12 complaints against Carver: excessive force, intimidation, 2 missing body cams, all dismissed with flimsy excuses. Apex name surfaces linked to a contract for precinct surveillance upgrades. She calls Mike again. They've got their hands on the cameras, she says, voice tight. That's how evidence keeps disappearing. He whistles low. They've got back doors in every precinct, server delete footage, fake logs, even track cop cars. This is big. That night, Carver's moved no paperwork, no trace. A black SUV drops him at a parking garage with a duffel bag, cash, a Glock, the burner. He dials, records a message. Your nephew bikes alone, not smart, Judge. His voice is cold, the old Carver clawing back. He drives to Mount Pleasant, parks 2 blocks from Evelyn's sister's house, watching the quiet street under a flickering lamp. Evelyn's at home, a brick house with a creaky porch swing and a security camera she rigged herself. She's pouring coffee when her phone buzzes a voicemail from an unknown number. Carver's voice chills her blood. She pulls up the camera feed. A figure in a hoodie skulks near the back fence. She dials Carter. He's here, she says, voice taut. Get my sister and nephew out quiet. Send marshals. She doesn't wait. Grabbing a scuffed aluminum baseball bat from the hall closet, she steps onto the porch, the night thick with crickets and tension. The figure moves closer, boots crunching, gravelets, Carver, Glock in hand, face half lit by the street lamp. You should have stopped, he says, stepping into her yard, voice low and rough. Apex owns this city. Evelyn grips the bat, stance wide, eyes locked on him. You made it my fight when you swung, Sergeant. Her voice is steel, unyielding, a stand-up that cuts through the dark. Carver raises the gun, but his hand shakes, fear, guilt, the badge's weight cracking him. They will bury you, he says, voice trembling. Your dad's badge too? She fires back, smirking cold and fierce. Why are you shaking then? He lunges, gun aimed, but she's faster. Decades of courtroom battles honed her reflexes. She swings the bat, a clean arc that smacks his wrist. The Glock clatters to the grass. He roars, charging like a bull, arms swinging wild. She sidesteps, spins, and cracks the bat across his back with a thud that echoes off the house. He hits the dirt, groaning just as headlights flood the yard. U.S. Marshals screech in, tires biting pavement, guns drawn. Drop it, one shouts, but Carver's down, face in the mud, fight gone. They cuff him, hauling him up as he spits curses. You're dead, he snarls, voice ragged. Apex'll end you. She leans in, bat still in hand, voice a whisper of iron. Let him try. The marshals drag him off, red and blue lights slashing the night. Back inside, Evelyn sinks into a chair, the bat clattering to the floor. Her phone buzzes. Mike, we traced the burner, he says tense. It's Apex. They've been scrubbing evidence for years. Cameras, servers, tied to the mayor's office. Evelyn's jaw tightens. How deep? Deep enough to drown half the city council, he says. And if they're pissed you're still standing. She exhales, staring at the cold coffee. Apex isn't just a company, it's a beast, and she's just kicked it in the teeth. Her nephew's safe now, stashed with Carter's team. But this is war. She grabs her pad, writes, Apex City surveillance, evidence tampering, DOJ raid now. Then she looks out the window, Atlanta's skyline glowing against the dark. You want to fight? She mutters. It'll give you one worth remembering. The night clings to Evelyn like a damp shroud as the U.S. Marshals drag Jake Carver off her lawn, his wrist cuffed, his face smeared with mud and defeat. Red and blue lights slash across the grass, glinting off the Glock had aimed at her, now a useless lump in the dirt. She's still holding the baseball bat, its aluminum cool against her palm, her breath steadying as the adrenaline ebbs. Carter's voice crackles through her phone, clipped and tight. Your sister and nephew are safe hotel downtown. Marshals posted. She nods to the empty room. Good, keep 'em there till I say. Inside, she drops the bat by the door with a clatter and sinks into a chair, the weight of the fight settling like ash. Her coffee's cold, but she downs it, the bitterness a jolt to her nerves. Carver's snarl of Pex'll end, you loops in her head, but it doesn't scare her. It sharpens her. She grabs her legal pad, flipping to a fresh page. Carver in custody, Apex confirmed. DOJ raid ASAP. Her phone buzzes, Mike Hensley from DOJ. Has talking, Mike says, voice taut with urgency. Named a big one. Harold Grayson. Evelyn's pen freezes mid-stroke. Harold Grayson, her mentor, the man who swore her in, who drilled the law's power into her as a starry-eyed law student. She hears his gravelly warning from her first day on the bench. Don't dig too deep, Evelyn. The system doesn't like it. She'd taken it as caution, not a confession. Grayson, she whispers, throat tight. You sure? Mike's grim, sure as hell. Carver says he's been on Apex payroll for years bearing cases, rigging outcomes. We're hitting his place now. She hangs up, her eyes landing on a framed photo of her and Grayson, grinning at her, swearing in, his hand on her shoulder. Betrayal stabs deeper than Carver's slap. She yanks the frame down, letting it crash to the floor, glass splintering across the hardwood. You taught me justice, she mutters, and ill use it to bury you. By dawn, the feds raid Grayson's Buckhead mansion. They find a laptop sloppy, unencrypted crammed with emails and bank records. Apex Security wired him millions over a decade, tied to dismissed cases and scrubbed evidence. One email from Victor Stahl, Apex CEO, cuts through. Keep Brooks in line. She's a loose end. Warrants flight precinct captains, prosecutors, a city councilman. Evelyn's not waiting. She's got a hammer to swing. At noon, she stands before Atlanta City Hall, rain pounding down, soaking her blazer and flattening her silver hair. Hundreds pack the steps, reporters, protesters, survivors holding signs. Justice now. Cameras flash, mics thrust forward. I'm Evelyn Brooks, she says, voice slicing the storm. A cop hit me. Here's who let him. 15 names cops. Grayson, Apex, Victor Stahl. They're done. I am joining DOJ to finish this. The crowd roars, thunder rolling with their cheers. Phones light up, live streams erupting online. Within hours, DOJ storms Apex downtown HQ, glass doors shatter. Files spill, execs scramble. Stall bolts nabbed at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. A suitcase of cash spilling as he's cuffed. The image Stahl dragged through the terminal. Head bowed, hits the internet like wildfire. A raw trophy of justice. That night, a bombshell lands. A clerk Grayson fired last year. Revenge for a buried case leaks a video from a hidden camera in his office. It's grainy but clear. Grayson, feet up, cigar glowing, laughing. Brooks thinks she's a hero changing the game. Apex runs this town. Shell crash. Later, post Carver's flop. He's pacing, sweating. She survived. That bitch is a nightmare, we're screwed. The clip ends in Atlanta ignites. Had justice for Atlanta. Trends nationwide. Protesters flood streets, demanding more. Grayson's fate locks fast. Indicted conspiracy, bribery, tampering, he's facing life. His mugshot hits the news. A hollow man, eyes dead, legacy ash. Apex collapses, stocks crash, contracts vanish. Bankruptcy filed by week's end. The precincts under federal watch. 300 cases reopen. Convictions flipped. The mayor quits, Apex ties exposed. A reform task force rises, bipartisan and fierce. Marcus's case drops his graffitis, now a mural downtown. Enough in bold red, a city-sanctioned cry. Evelyn watches from her Mount Pleasant porch. Rain gone, dusk bruising the sky purple. Her nephew, Jamal, bikes up, backpack swinging. Has 14, all legs and grit. Safe now with Carter's team gone. He drops the bike, bounds up the steps, and barrels into her arms. Auntie Ev, he says, muffled in her shoulder. I saw you on TV. You took him down. She hugs him tight, a grip that says she'd burn the world for him. Not all of them, she says, pulling back to meet his eyes. Just the ones dumb enough to swing. He grins, bright and wide. I want to be a judge like you. Her throat catches, but she smiles soft, real. You'll be better, kid. They're scared of us now. The TV hums inside. Jamal's sister left it on. A news anchor's voice spills out. Apex bankrupt. Grayson faces life. Evelyn Brooks hailed as Atlanta's reckoning. She glances at it, then flicks it off. She doesn't need the noise. She feels it, the shift, the city breathing freer. Marcus's mural flashes in her mind, a kid's hope turned permanent. She steps to the rail, Jamal beside her. What now, Auntie? He asks, voice small but steady. She exhales, the fight still alive in her veins. Now we keep going, she says. Justice isn't a win, it's a promise. And we're keeping it. Atlanta glows beyond, lights twinkling. New dawn breaking through the dark. So what's the takeaway from Evelyn Brooks and her fight in The Badge That Broke the Line? It's simple, but it hits hard. Justice doesn't just happen, it's forged by those brave enough to stand up when the world wants them to sit on. Evelyn didn't flinch when Carver's hand swung, didn't back off when Apex loomed large, and didn't quit even when the odds stacked high. She showed us that courage isn't loud, it's steady, unshaken, a fire that burns through fear. One slap sparked a war, and one woman's resolve brought down an empire of corruption. But here's the real kicker. This isn't just her story, it's ours too. Marcus found hope in her fight, a kid whose enough went from a cry on a wall to a mural for a city. Jamal saw a future where he could be more than the system's target, he could be its judge. The lesson? When you stand up, you don't just lift yourself, you pull others up with you. Justice isn't a gift from on high. It's a promise we keep by refusing to let the bad guys win, by digging in when it's tough, by believing change isn't a dream but a demand. Evelyn's battle reminds us that power doesn't get to run unchecked, not when people like her, like us, say no more. It's about hope, not the fluffy kind, but the gritty, fists clenched kind that says tomorrow can be better if we fight for it today. So next time you see wrong and feel that itch to act, do it. Stand up, speak out, because one spark, one voice, can light a fire that changes everything. Love this story? Hit that like button if Evelyn's courage got your blood pumping. I know it did mine. And if you're all in for more inspiring tales like this, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell. We're just getting started, bringing you stories of real fighters, real wins every single week. Drop a comment where this hit you hardest. I'm reading every word. Let's keep the fire burning together.